let me tell you something, uneducated fools.
You guys saw the thumbnail and you thought to yourself, he's going after Dave Rubin. Actually, I'm not really going after Dave Rubin, even though I'm going to be mentioning him in this video because he's obviously the basis of this video. Who I'm going to be going after is the so-called culture war warriors who claim to be at the front lines of the culture war. So make sure you guys bear with me on this one. This video here could lose me some subscribers, but this right here is more along the lines of a right-wrong issue, and if I lose subscribers over this issue, then so be it. But here's the deal. Last week, Dave Rubin and his husband decided that they were going to go to an actual clinic and pay for some eggs and, of course, get them fertilized, whatever, take them to two women, pay them to have the kids, and, of course, they're going to walk out without letting the woman have anything to do with the kids. You see, there's a problem here. You see, a lot of these so-called right-wing pundits, like, say, Ben Shapiro, who's really just controlled opposition, Matt Walsh, who I personally believe is a bit of a grifter, and, of course, Mike Turtovich, who also is definitely a grifter. They claim to be for traditional marriage, and they claim to be for the nuclear family and all that stuff right there. But yet here they are congratulating Dave Rubin on essentially renting two women's wombs and implanting eggs in them and having them artificially inseminated, and then of course they're going to walk off depriving these kids of an actual honest-to-God mother. Oh, and by the way, this right here is not the equivalent of adoption, okay? In adoption, what happens is that a woman gives up a child for adoption to a couple that actually wants the child, okay? This right here is actually paying money for eggs, fertilized, renting two women's wombs for a day and a night, having them have the kids, hand the kids over, you walk the hell out with the kids, these women never see these kids again, okay? This video is also not about gay marriage. I could give a crap less what Dave Rubin does in his personal life. Me personally, if I did not already say this in this video, I've not already said it in the past, me personally, I'm not in favor of gay marriage, but I think it's an issue that should be handled on the states. By the way, that there may be an issue that we'll talk about at a later date. I'm not in favor of that, and I'm not in favor of gay couples having actual kids or adopting kids because, well, I don't want to morbidly destroy a child's mind, okay? I'm not in favor of that there, especially two gay dudes. I mean, didn't Buck Peter Judge do this crap right here? Yeah, I called him Buck Peter Judge because he did the exact same crap. By the way, Buck Peter Judge, he's not always been gay. It almost makes me think that maybe he's just, I don't know, maybe a plant of some type. But let's go ahead and get back on topic. You see, this right here is hypocrisy, and it makes people on the right wonder why it is their so-called pundits are not trustworthy because of crap like this right here. And, of course, there are other people who, down the line, decide they want to congratulate Dave over this. Christopher Rufo, of course, the CRT guy. Also, Megyn Kelly. Who else? Supposedly Lauren Chen. She didn't say anything. By the way, I'll talk about Lauren Chen towards the end of this video. But Mark Dice made an actual video on this right earlier this morning. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys see a bit of a snippet of what he had to say. So let's go ahead and roll this.
Dave Rubin creating a motherless home. After he and his partner announced that they were doing this, PragerU, the prestigious conservative institution, congratulated them, along with The Blaze, Glenn Beck's media company, Breitbart's Joel Pollack, critical race theory expert Chris Rufo, Megyn Kelly, Meghan McCain, Kat Timpf, and many others. Someone made this meme, which is accurate. I also called out Lauren Chen, respectfully, who was one of the women being considered to replace Meghan McCain on The View, by the way. I like Lauren, but she too so far has had no response. And these are people who live on Twitter, who tweet their 2 cents about every story that comes across their feed. Maybe she wants that job at the Daily Wire, so she doesn't want to upset Ben Shapiro by saying that what his best gay friend is doing is wrong. Matt Walsh got very triggered when I kept calling him out for his silence. He was tweeting about how people should stop using the preferred pronouns of transgender people and said that he'll never use them. And then I said that he probably will soon, just like how virtually every Republican supports gay marriage. Support meaning capitulating to the left's language and even calling it a marriage at all, or using the word wife or husband in that context instead of partner or relationship. And he flipped out. He basically said that I'm a liar and that he's been fighting these issues for years and I haven't done a, quote, damn thing. Buttigieg did the same thing a few months ago, by the way. And this is way beyond the debate about should gay couples be allowed to adopt and raise children. To that issue, Christians say absolutely not. It's about Dave and his partner depriving the children of mothers by having the kids turned over to them. Mike Cernovich obviously glossed over that point, pretending that that wasn't the point of contention at all. Glenn Beck posted a little clip from his interview that he's doing with Dave about the issue, where he sounds just as woke as someone from BuzzFeed, saying he doesn't have an answer as to whether it's right or wrong.
I think, and this is why I wanted to have you on, because I don't have an answer.
Glenn, the answer is no. Don't do that.
I get why the right has these, what I would argue are often legitimate fears, because the left does not stop eating civilization.
Correct.
And think about what an unfortunate position that puts us in, because then someone like me can make an announcement like this, then good, decent, thoughtful conservatives, some of faith, maybe some not of faith, whatever it is, could reach out and say, boy, this is what an interesting opportunity, and sure, it's a little different, and whatever, all the love that you and the Blaze guys and everyone else are giving me. And then there's this other part that's legit, which is,
correct.
If we move the line, they're going to keep going. And I don't know what the answer to that is.
Dave.
I honestly don't, because that has nothing to do with me and how I'm going to live my life.
How much further will the left move the line? Bro, the line has been crossed. You crossed it.
You can't be all about the nuclear family. You can't be all about traditional values, but yet you actually accept this. Guys, let me go ahead and end this video on this note right here. And like I said, Mark Dice's full video will be in the comment section, as well as Real American Politics, who had a very, very good take on this as well. You cannot say that you are a traditionalist. You cannot say that you are a conservative, and yet at the same time parrot this crap right here. You see, Matt Walsh recently had a debate on Dr. Phil where he basically debated with an actual transgender, a guy who thinks he's a woman, and of course he refused to use the pronouns. But yet here it is, Matt Walsh is not saying anything about this. I mean, these people right here turned on Trump quicker than, I mean, they turned on Trump pretty daggone quick, but yet here they are allowing somebody who is who's actually buying fertilized eggs and renting out women. They are not calling that out. They're not saying anything about this. They're not saying it unequivocally that this right here is a no-no. You cannot do this right here and actually preach our values. No, this is a problem, okay? It's a serious problem. You see, I did several videos on Colin Borisenko, and the reason why I did those videos on Colin Borisenko is I had a fear that when she started her whole CRT is not anti-white crap, what she was doing was she was beginning to pass judgment on the conservative base. You see, if you start to lift that base up, there's not going to be much of a contrast, and you're going to lose your actual base of support for upcoming elections. You see, when you lose your base, you then lose elections. By then, when you lose those elections, then you have the left. So these same people who are complaining about the left are trying to lefty up the right, bringing all this nonsense over, and as a result of that right there, it's actually weakening us as a society, and it's also weakening us traditionally. You see, this right here is a very, very big deal, because it's those traditions, it's the institutions that we have right here on the conservative side. Christianity, the things that we normally have, is these values that have been holding our society together for years, and when this crap right here occurs, our society begins to collapse. Let me make one last point, okay? This is about Lauren Chin. I don't fully agree with Mark Dice's full assessment on Lauren Chin, especially the whole Daily Wire bit. And here's the reason why. You're probably thinking, oh my God, you're going to simp for Lauren Chin. First of all, Lauren Chin right now, I think is right around 9 months pregnant. Number two, the next thing is Lauren Chin oftentimes waits like a day or two after something occurs. She kind of sits on it a bit before she decides to release a take on it. It's normally like a 13 to 15 minute take. So I'm not going to pass judgment on her until she actually opens up and says something. Charlie Kirk, that one right there is a little bit weird to me. Maybe he might have been told to stay away from this one, but Matt Walsh has always been a bit of a grifter, in my opinion. He talked about the whole Trump administration like they didn't bring up these issues before. Well, the issues were brought to light by him. Matt Walsh was too much of a neocon to not actually point it out. He was too much. He was already very, very much anti-Trump. He's one of those guys who went and voted for him out of fear. Basically, like, it was my last year. I don't even think he voted for him in 2016. I think he stayed at home. I know Ben Shapiro did, which, by the way, is very, very strange, because I think people are starting to figure out that Ben Shapiro is, in fact, controlled opposition. And they prove this right here, maybe not intentionally, by falling for this crap and saying, hey, man, congratulations for buying fertilizer eggs and basically renting out two women's wombs. Oh, by the way, congratulations for depriving these kids of an actual experience with an actual mother, if you guys know what I'm saying. Let me go ahead and end this video before it gets too long. I'm going to go ahead and say this really, really quick. God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah not because of the actions of things that were going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. No, he did not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah for that very reason. He destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because they had allowed this type of crap to be normalized into their culture. They allowed all the sodomy. They normalized all this stuff right here. So I want you to think about something really quick. When God asked Abraham about 10 righteous men, is it very, very possible that maybe he asked that question because, well, there weren't 10 righteous men in that city because they had actually allowed this crap to be normalized? I want you guys to think on that right there. Guys, John Claymore, if you like this content, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My video on trans and sports will also be coming out tomorrow. We're going to get to work on that now, and I'll see you guys later.
That seed salesman sure saw us coming.
No, saw you coming. Corn, corn, corn. Nothing but corn.